I started talking about Stephen A. Smith and his icon whenever the Cowboys lose. So I
Well,
tried to I tried to impersonate it because that's how I feel towards Giants, who had no business in that game. That's what I was doing. That's what at halftime we were
Oh,
we were up
God.
nothing, shaking my head, and I wish I could have been here to see how you felt.
Well, I felt horrible because I had to sit next to Henry. But
Pretty bad.
yeah, but other than that, no, I mean, look, say what you will. I'm proud to say that we had no business being in that game at all. Like, this was a rebuilding year. I'm not upset about it. I didn't think we were gonna win going in. So would I have liked to see more of a fight? Sure. But we were in a spot that literally no one expected us to be in, including myself. I thought going into the year we were going to maybe win 5 games. So I'm pretty thrilled that we even got to the point that we were at. We have no talent. Like the fact that we even were in that game and that we beat the Vikings is so embarrassing for them.
Agreed.
We don't even have a receiver. Like Isaiah Hodgins, a guy we picked off waivers, is our number one receiver.
He had one catch against us.
He had one catch, and then I think it was mostly Richie James actually.
Yeah, the Vikings secondary made him look like the prime of OBJ.
Yeah, I mean everyone went off. Slayton, he had a bad drop in that game too. But nah, I'm pretty happy with the season. We had no business being in that game. Um, Eagles are a better team top to bottom. Like you guys are probably one of the most talented teams in the league. I think the Niners actually probably one of the most talented teams too, with the exception of Brock. Pretty good.
He's been pretty good.
He's been pretty good.
The fact that they're even as like even in a conversation about Jimmy G starting is just mind blowing to me.
Yeah, it'll be
49ers
interesting
fans
next year.
will hate who's their coach? Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan.
49ers fans will hate him for life if Jimmy G starts. I don't think there's a chance of that happening, but it is, and they lose, which I hope they do. For here of it, I know he's a rookie, but the fact that he's what so 8-0,
Something like that, yeah.
taking
He's
over,
undefeated.
and obviously he's got a flying offense. So unlike last week, this game I am a little bit nervous for. And I was torn because I obviously we would have rallied Cowboys, seeing how
They suck.
terrible they were.
They're so bad.
49ers the second year in a row, but that game somehow, which they were in that game the entire time. I would have been nervous to play them too, be losing at our home stadium to the Cowboys to send them to the Super Bowl. I don't know if I would have been able to recover from that. I'm just glad they're out. And if we're gonna lose to anybody, it's gonna be the 49ers because they have just as good, if better defense as the Eagles do, and they have a lot of offensive weapons. They have a better tight end, and I don't know if I say they have the better wider. If you want to say that Deebo Samuel, Jay Brown this year he wasn't, but that's up for debate. They have the better run, like McCaffrey, but it's gonna be a showdown. It's a great game.
Mm-hmm.
3 o'clock.
It's going to be really dependent on like if I was reading and watching some YouTube clips on this, but it's true. If Brock Purdy gets down 14-0, that'll be a really big moment. Like, is he able to come back, claw back? Like, can he do it? I don't know. Like, it's just crazy. He was literally the last pick in the draft. Like he was last pick in the draft for a reason. He was the one who was throwing to like the tight ends and the quarterback drills during the combine because no one cared to look at him. Like,
and he's just got a story how he get into Alabama and Nick Saban's just like you're not enough. You're not good enough to play in this pro. He goes to Iowa State and played pretty well there. And I saw the box score of when he played Oklahoma go down.
Yeah.
That was a
I was
great
watching
game.
that.
And yeah, like you said, he was the second to last pick or
No, the last pick. Yeah.
299. But still, yeah, he's had a great story. So you can root for him, but I'm not rooting for him. I hope he's in 3 plays.
I will be rooting for him. No, look, like I think, yeah, like it's an interesting matchup. Like the Eagle, it's really going to be coming down to like the Niners defense, who is really really good, can they stop the combination of like Miles Sanders, who to be honest, I don't think is that good of a running back. I think that he's just behind such an elite O-line and has the.
I don't disagree with you. It's funny you say that because Miles Sanders has been our number one back all year, but then in like last game he didn't do anything, and Kenneth Gain was like our second, if not running back, popped off.
I'll tell you my hot takes are. I think that because, and I'm not saying Sirianni is a bad coach, but I think he looks like an amazing coach because of the ridiculous talent and depth on this team. And I don't think Miles Sanders is a good running back. Like I think he's fine. I don't think he's bad. I think he's fine. But I think with the threat of Jalen Hurts running and this O-line and the scheme by like Jonathan Gannon, I just genuinely think that that's why he's succeeding. He's never played this well in his whole career. Like, I don't know. That's just my thought. I mean, we'll see how it works.
Let me say that concerning Sirianni. When the last time you saw a number one seeded team or coach not be considered in the top 3 of the year? When was the last time you saw that happen? And obviously,
I'm sure it's happened before, but I don't know.
I get it off the top of my head, but it's just something I feel like happen very often. And the fact that he's not in consideration for top 3 coach of the year is just mind blowing to me. I think Brian Dable deserves it because, like you said, how the Giants were not even expected to be the team that they were this year, and him and his first year team, I think he did a hell of a job. Doug Peterson deserves to be considered from the disaster that were with Urban and the Jags, what they turned out to, and they're going to be a real threat in this league in the next years.
Totally.
What the Eagles did this year, I just think it's just a disgrace that Sirianni isn't being considered for coach of the year. But
like I said, like I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't think that he's what he's made out to be because I mean this team is literally like how could you possibly fail with them? Kyle Shanahan also should be up there because like what the hell he has done with 3 different quarterbacks in a completely different system that he thought he was going to be running with Trey Lance. Crazy.
I don't think the Eagles have had a solid coach since Andy's has been a long time. Doug Peterson, but you could say the same thing about Doug when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2018, 2019.
Well, they weren't this talented.
2008. They're not this talented, but they had a talent on that team though, and I don't know if it was coaching or not.
I just think that this is probably like top to bottom one of the most talented teams that has been out there in a long time.
Yeah,
there's a reason that you guys have only lost 1 game in the year. Like you almost lost some nail biters. Like you almost lost to the Giants in the last week when Jalen Hurts wasn't running. You almost lost to the Bears the week before that.
We lost to Dallas. We lost to the Saints, and I think we lost one. And we lost to like the Commanders.
So yeah, but I'm just saying like. They haven't really lost many games, but that's like the reason that there's 70 sacks is like definitely defensive coordinator, but also because you guys have Brandon Graham as a reserve rusher who had a career year. Like,
did you say the second ago that there was a close Giants this year?
You just cut out. I don't know what you're saying.
Did you say a couple seconds ago there was a game that we had that was close with the Giants?
There was the last week of the year.
Was it?
Yeah, you were playing against our reserves, and it was
yeah. Well, that story, but fill you guys out.
It still was a game. That last week of the year, it was terrible. But no, what I was saying is, like, when you have like guys like that in reserve roles who are having career years, like 70 sacks is not like that's no joke. I mean, it's just like top to bottom. Like the whole rotation is just insane. Like of the D linemen, let alone getting Bradbury from us because Gettleman is the worst GM maybe ever. And then that's your number 2 corner, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That was a good pickup. Like Howie did such a good job building this team. And the O-line's insane, which is amazing for a run game that is largely predicated off of the run pass option.
Yeah. I want the since we have a top 10 pick. I don't know if they'll slip to us, but since like Lane Johnson gets banged up every. I'd like the Eagles to go after this guy from Penn State or this other guy. Last name's like Pikronsky, something like that. Some offensive tackle. But
I will know it. I don't right now.
Yeah.
Once we get closer, I will know.
Yeah, we'll get to the Mockies.
I'm sure we'll be so fucking wrong again.
As we were last year.
Last year, I think we got almost every single pick wrong.
Yep. I think we lost a couple subscribers. So.
Yeah, off of the 20 that we had.
Before we head over to the AFC, give me your final score prediction for the NFC to send them to the Super Bowl.
Final score predictions
in the NFC game.
I think that the NFC game, that's really tough. I don't know what the score would be because like I feel like it could go either way. The Niners have such a good defense, and so do the Eagles. Like I could see it being low scoring, but then I'm also like, it would have like it's probably going to be high scoring. Maybe like 24-17. I don't know, 24-21. I think the Eagles will win it. I do. But I want the Niners to win. I will root for the Niners, but I think the Eagles will win, and I think the Bengals will win. Actually, they've kind of had Mahomes' number, and I wonder how much the injury will affect his mobility on the pocket. So, plus the Chiefs' defense just blows. Like they're a really bad defense.
Yeah,
especially passing defense.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to a field. I think the Eagles will win 27-24 to the Super Bowl, and then I think in the AFC, I want to see that, like you said, they're just like the odds are stacked against them right now. Their defense isn't great. Mahomes has an ankle injury, which could reduce his mobility. The Bengals have just looked flawless. Like care of the Bills. Did they take care of first round?
The Bills?
No, the Bengals. Who did they play in the first?
The Ravens, but they almost lost to the Ravens.
Yeah, that was the nerd fumble or return down. But yeah, they've just looked solid. Their offense since Joe Burr and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon, it's been really solid. So I don't know if it's enough for the Chiefs. This is what I was thinking. About a year, them get a point, and like they really shitty with what they were able to do. But without having Tyreek Hill, I don't know if enough for them. We're gonna need other guys like Juju and play really well.
Yeah. Kadarius Toney.
You need to utilize him as a weapon. Like after what happened last, when they lost, like they can't take any chances. And Mahomes is playing no matter what.
He's definitely playing.
I don't know if he can get through the whole game.
It'll be literally if they can cover Kelsey, like that's half of. And I'm sure that he's going to check it down to Jerick McKinnon a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a passing for sure.
He'll have to get
even last week though. Like Isaiah Pacheco played really.
He played super well last week. Yeah.
So
he was really good last week.
And the Bengals have a very good defense, so it's going to be interesting. What was their? Let's look it up. I forgot if they played this year. What that was.
When who?
Bulls. They definitely regular season. I'm pretty sure.
They played this year. The Bengals and Chiefs.
The Bengals.
The Bengals won. They've won all 3 times that they've played.
Oh yeah,
So-
27-24, real close game.
And I think that one is more likely to shoot out than the Eagles Niners, just because of like the high flying offenses and the fact the Chiefs don't have a good defense.
Mhm.
But I think that game will be really close. And I think if Mahomes is healthy, I think maybe Mahomes would take it. I don't know. Joe Burrow's played so well though.
He really has, especially just losing the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, like the hangover that the Rams had compared to them
Non-existent.
is crazy. I also hate Eli Apple, and the fact that he's chirping everyone is so stupid. He's chirping DeMar Hamlin. Like, what an idiot.
And then he tried to cover it up, and it wasn't like connected. But I think he's just bullshit.
I hate him.
Yeah,
Everyone hates him.
I hope he gets cooked.
He probably will get cooked. I don't know who he'll be on, but that dude will be open.
Yeah.
I love that the comment section of anything that Eli Apple writes on Twitter is all just like a picture of burnt toast.
Yeah. So putting like who you would want to win aside, who do you think would put together the best Super Bowl? I think Chiefs would just be the best Super Bowl. But Jalen Hurts is on this year, being both number 1 seeds to the Super Bowl. Pat Mahomes getting better. Saw some crazy stat about how many years has he been in the league? 7, and every year he's got into the AFC championship game.
Is that right? Every year,
something like that. I'm almost positive. It's something like that.
I think you're right too. Actually, I think he has been in this game every year.
I don't know if it's every year or like the 5 years, something like that. I think I saw the year he's been in the league, because it was they were terrible, and then Andy took over, and Alex Smith led them really turned it around, and then he had that crazy injury, and then Mahomes took over.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like
I think the most exciting Super Bowl. I mean, I won't say the Eagles. Like I don't want them in there. Like it would be a good game though. Them against the Chiefs when Mahomes is healthy. The issue is that like he has a high ankle sprain, and it looked really bad when it happened.
Yeah.
So the fact is,
Henny will lead him to the promised land.
Anything is possible. Yeah, no, that would be really exciting if Mahomes was fully healthy. I also really do think they're lacking without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I agree. They're missing that downhill threat. But we'll see though.
You can't trust Marquez Valdez-Scantling to be like the guy who's going to do it for you. Just ask any Packers fan.